Let me to tell you before a few words about this program, because we are two authors of this program, as you can see, Vilka Radkiewicz and myself, and just a few words about the history of this project, because we were students in Paris, and we came from abroad, both of us. She came from Poland and I came from Argentina, and we met in Paris, and after she left and she went to the States, and so we decided to start a correspondence with sound. At this time, it was the beginning of the 90s, we sent each other cassettes, because it was the time of cassettes. I don't know, maybe some people here are not born at this time, but me, I was. So we sent cassettes each other instead of sending letters. So it was sound letters. So we started doing that, and at a certain point, it was 2000, we thought, because we were very interested in education, both of us, music education, we decided to try to do an educational project with Soundson. So that was the beginning of the Soundson project. So the Soundson project is a web-based environment in which composers or students living in different countries create a common sound composition through an ongoing exchange of sounds. This project was created as experimental approach to audio sharing and collaborative composition. The exchange of sounds does not take place in real time, but allows the composition to develop in a building process over a period of time. The resulting composition varies depending on the age and background of the participants. With the students with little musical training, the final piece may be closer to a sound collage than to a musical composition. The participants in the Soundson exchange use as materials sounds captures from the real world, including spoken word, sounds produced by objects, environmental sounds, or any captured sound event coming from the audible world. This practice creates musical results which break the boundaries of traditional electroacoustic music, blending in the elements from radio art, audio art, and sound poetry. Until now, the Soundson project has been developing in two directions simultaneously, as an educational model and as an approach to collaborative composition between artists. But here I will present the educational model. So, Soundson is an experimental music education program which consists of the creation by students from different countries of single musical compositions based on sounds they record and then exchange via the internet. The musical activity consists of collecting different sound materials and combining them into a composition. Doing so, students become aware of their own sound environment while discovering new aspects of a foreign culture through sound dialogue. Soundson creates a platform for communication between people of different languages by sounds only, without images or words. The program Soundson integrates multicultural elements with musical environment and technological education. It promotes creative use of technology in the area of new musical pedagogy, thus using this technology as a communication tool to collectively compose a single piece from several locations. From the multicultural perspective, the program involves the exchange of sounds that document everyday life across cultural and linguistic barriers, thus creating the opportunity for students to discover the sound world of other countries. The novelty of the project lies in several areas. Soundson combines new approach to musical pedagogy with the concept of learning through exchange in a multicultural and interdisciplinary environment. So these are the more, let's say, basic pedagogical goals that you try to develop through this program. To introduce the practice of electroacoustic music into the classroom, to make students use music technology creatively, to initiate meaningful collaboration between schools from different countries through this practice, to support development of listening skills, sensitivity to the world of sounds and musical imagination, to stimulate curiosity for other cultures, to reinforce ability of working in groups, to encourage critical thinking and forging personal tastes. So now I will develop some of the aspects of our program. So of course, as I said before, the educational model. So, sound material. So for the purpose of the program, we use mainly two different types of sounds to be recorded and exchanged. Sounds of the environment, of the participants, and vocal sounds in which each language appears. The reason for choosing these two types of sounds is that the students are surrounded with them on a daily basis. These recordings express important aspects of the respective cultures of the participants because they represent places where the participants live or they contain words of their language. Yet in our program, the sounds are heard not only for what they represent, but also for their sonic and musical qualities. One can listen to environmental sounds and musical materials focusing on their textures, timbres, or shapes. The musicality of the vocal sound comes from the language itself, and particularly when it is not understood. Since the group don't understand their respective languages, the words for each one become musical sounds to the other. In the first phase of the program, we ask students to record the sounds surrounding them. The stage of recording is very important from the pedagogical point of view because students need to develop a different way of listening to the world around them. At this stage, the objective is to develop sensitive listening skills which leads to hearing environmental sounds differently as special sounds to be captured. So, by finding sounds to be recorded by the microphone, the students alter their perception of the environment. They must listen with new ears. We teach students basic recording techniques. For example, we point out that the captured sound will vary depending on the distance between the microphone and the source. We also discuss with the student two types of recording. Recording of sounds as found object, objet trouvé in French, soundscape, and recording of sounds produced intentionally in front of a microphone. In the case of the educational model, mostly vocal sounds. Each type of recording requires a different attitude and technique. The first implies discovery, the second, invention. Finally, it is because a recorded sound can be stored and reproduced that it becomes a material for a sound composition. Internet as a tool for exchange, working groups. In all phases of the Soundson program, students work in connection with each other. In the course of the program, the students experience two levels of interaction. They work in groups, in their classrooms, and they create a single composition in a collaborative long-distance exchange between the groups. The latter requires the use of the internet. For file exchange, for many years, we have used an interactive page that functioned as a mailbox to upload and download the sound and composition. We always hope that our approach will challenge the students' habit of passively interacting with the computer. We also hope to challenge the overload of information experienced by most of online users by proposing an activity requiring attention and imagination. And now I remember that something was asked me, Roman, or I don't know, the person who read my proposition, how we could change the way of use the technology during the 15 years that the project took place. At the beginning, I remember that it was very complicated to send sounds. The Columbia University asked us to use only MP3 sounds, but at this time the MP3 quality was very, very bad. And also we have to use FTP to send sounds. So now it's very easy, of course, because now we have a lot of possibilities with Dropbox, with our other similar systems. And, but now the problem is that we don't have anymore the page at the Columbia University. So if we want to continue with the project, it won't be at the page you have seen before, because Columbia supports us until 2012. So now we are thinking if we are starting with the independent site to do this or not. But that is our thoughts about the educative part of the project, because we also understand that for this kind of project, I mean, the educational model has to be supported by an institution. Of course, the other aspect of the project, the artistic part of the project, no, we can be independent, but not for the educational model. So I continue working in progress. So in a group, learning takes place at the level of a group and at the individual level. By being involved in a joint activity, students learn from each other, and they learn how to collaborate by negotiating differences between the participants. They also learn that these differences might constitute the creative power of the group. Working in groups turn out to be beneficial for some students that otherwise would be too shy or uncertain of themselves. It creates a more equal interaction and a chance to participate. Groups can be creative by merging ideas from individual perspectives. All learning is fundamentally social. Language or music are never private. They are situated in culture and history. In a situation of exchange, students apply themselves by having a partner who acts like an audience. The fact of being part of a dialogue helps students to focus on listening because an answer is required. During the exchange, students access and interpret sounds sent to them. In turn, the confrontation with other cultures produces a greater curiosity as well as awareness of its own surroundings and cultural landscape. By choosing the format of an exchange correspondence rather than exchange in real time, we give the students necessary time to reflect and prepare their replies with the help of the teacher. This also is an important point, and I think that now, what I can hear today, most of people are interested in real-time composition, and it's true that in our project we are not interested in real-time composition, but we, on the contrary, we like that process of time and exchange, the process take time and give time to think about what is going on. But I have also some exceptions that I will show you later. To compose is to create something new, meaningful and intentional. Composition with the students without formal musical training is an entirely different process from the work of the composer. It is an educational process in which the young people discover the world of sounds and they acquire basic tools to organize sounds. That is why we often refer to the students' works as collage. We believe that by composing at the basic level, students will grow more musically expressive. They will better understand the work of others and will develop critical thinking as well as their personal tastes. In the situation of collaborative work, such as featured in the Soundson program, where students always build on previously composed fragments sent to them by the partners, the additional elements of interaction, cooperation, and contact to different cultures enrich the compositional process. So this is kind of summary of our goals. Listening to the sounds around us as a way of developing awareness of the sonic environment and as a way of listening to the world as music. Soundscape as a generative element for composition. Long-distance collaborative composition, music making in the process of exchange. Intercultural exchange through sound. Linking students from different languages, social backgrounds, and distant geographical location. Accessible audio technology used as a tool for creative musical activities. The variety of response from abroad makes students aware of the inherent richness of the world of sounds around them and of the endless possibilities of invention and organization in the domain of sound composition. So now I would like to present two projects. So this one was a pilot project. It was in the year 2000 between two schools. One in Vichy-sur-Seine, because I worked at Vichy-sur-Seine as a teacher for many, many years, as a piano teacher and also conducting workshops of mixed music. And she lives in Roosevelt, New Jersey, in USA. So this project for me is very interesting because it took time. So it took, let's say, 6 months. I mean, we started in January and we finished in May. We call it at least 4 months. But so it took time, so we could really do what we want. I mean, to go on in the process of composition with children. So without any background, any musical background. So I would like to play 2 examples of this composition, if I can.
Sound.son. Sound.son. Sound.son.
Sound.sound. Une pièce musicale.
Musical piece.
Première partie.
Part 1.
My name is.
Je m'appelle.
J'en ai du bon et puis du bon.
J'ai du bon tabac dans ma tabatière. J'ai du bon tabac, tu n'en auras pas. J'en ai du bon, j'en ai du bon, j'en ai du bon, j'en ai du bon, tu n'en auras pas. J'en ai du bon et puis du bon, j'en ai du bon et puis du bon, j'en ai du bon et puis du bon, j'en ai du bon. Dans ma tabatière, j'ai du bon tabac, tu n'en auras pas. J'en ai du bon, j'en ai du bon, j'en ai du bon, tu n'en auras pas. J'en ai du bon et puis du bon, j'en ai du bon et puis du bon, j'en ai du bon et tu n'en auras pas. My name is Megan Class. I'm subtype. My name is Black Subtype. My name is Black Subtype.
New Jersey, New Jersey, Hi, my name is Madison. United States of one big God, indivisible, and justice for all. Je m'appelle New Jersey. Our names are Jonathan, Karina, Danielle. Je m'appelle Julia, Megan, Tommy. With liberty and justice for all. Je m'appelle Maria, Larry, Gabrielle, Joe, and we live in Roosevelt, New Jersey, in the United States. Je m'appelle Maria.
A second example of the third part of the same piece.
Troisième partie. Part 3. Musique par ordinateur. Computer music.
This is another example. This was a more, let's say, ambitious project because it was with 7 schools at the same time. It was in a shorter period of time. It was 1 month, the whole thing. I mean, we start preparing the project 1 month before, but the project took place 1 week, and the exchange took place during 2 hours. Because it was the European week from Monday till Friday, and the exchange, so it was, we can say, almost real time, but because it was very quick. And I will show you how it functions. So we contact all these schools. I went to Italy, to Patti, and Rishka went to Sofia and to 2 cities in Poland. And we have connection with the people in Villejuif and Lansargues. So we prepare together the project on this basis. So they have to record 2 types of sounds, each 3 to 10 seconds long. So we mix the 2 types of sounds that I told you before, environmental sounds and vocal sounds. So the process of recording sounds took, let's say, 3 weeks. So when everything was ready, I mean, when the sounds were edited and put on the bank of sounds, so we share together a bank of sounds at the Columbia site, where you can download it and upload the sound. So this was the result. You can ask me why 3 games. It was because we thought that we have 2 hours and 7 schools. So we want, all schools were working all the time. So we organized these 3 games. I have 5 minutes, okay. The game in order that all schools were busy all the time. So at the end, we have 3 very short fragments. So maybe one can listen one. We can go, if not, we can go, you can go to the website and everything is on. But just, so the domino, as you can understand, is not a real domino. It's just to find a close parameter, the end of a sound at the beginning of the following. But it was really made in 2 hours time by children. So. So, these are 2 feedbacks that we received from 2 composers. We organized a project between a school in Ushuaia, Tierra del Fuego, and in Bordeaux, in France. So, this is what the composer Jean-Louis Di Santo wrote after the experience took place. So I go quick because I don't have time. So, this is a composer, Joaquin Cofreses, who lives in Ushuaia and to write all this comments about the experience. So they work at the same way we worked the first, during many, and also you can listen to the sounds in our website. So I go out on because I would like to show you, before I leave, these 2 quotations. This is from a philosopher. And this one is someone you probably know. And is synthesize the principles that we would like to support. So this is the first one is the page you can find the Columbia. The other one is our independent page where, as I told you before, we are basically organizing artistic projects instead of educational projects. And this is our working method. Thank you for your attention.
Now we have time for 1 quick or 2 quick questions.
You gave us the feedback from the composers. What was the students' reaction overall?
I think that what the composers say is about the student reactions.
Okay, I don't understand.
You could, maybe I can find exactly in the quotation. Let me see.
So maybe reverse the question. What did the composer think?
The students were attentive and showed curiosity throughout the duration of the project. Although at the start of the activities their sound environment was not unfamiliar to them, they began to perceive it in a progressively detailed manner. They started to listen to their peers, to the sounds of the school and the environment. They were captivated by the fact that children from a different country could listen to their voices as much as they could hear the voices of their peers from overseas. Some students showed a particular interest in the activities, but they all participated in various stages of the project. So it means that some of the students were more interested than the others, of course. But it's our experience too. For me, there are two things I would like to point out to answer your question. One is the curiosity. They don't know these children, they come from very far, and when they receive the sounds, it's a very, very nice moment for them. And also the magic moment of the editing sounds. This is magic for them, I mean, in general. And editing and put together sounds, their sounds with the sound of the other is more magic.
So there is another question and last question.
I'm interested in the negotiation of composition, probably that's obvious, but actually it strikes me that the composer is you.
No, it's not. No, this is I have an idea about this. When you are a composer and at the same time you are a pedagogue, so what you have to do is not to do a composition but to invent the dispositif when the composition takes place. That's why I was I put the quotation by John Cage, because it's similar to the process that John Cage invent for different reasons probably. But this is the idea. I don't know how to say dispositif in English. I mean, it's a very precise word in French. Yeah. But this is the idea, to invent the setup when everything takes place. But you can live moments of freedom and moments more strict inside.
And just to add something to the question, actually you create a context where the children can collaborate to
yes.
Put sounds, etc.
More than that.
And
yeah,
there is a composer attached to a project, right? On the side. And
no, we create not only the context, we also create the rules.
And the rules, well,
the rules to put the songs together. Yeah. The rules to compose at the level. That's why we say that there is not a composition. There are more collab than composition.
The last question, Mike.
Sorry.
I thought yours was the last, but I have something to ask. And who did the final sound composition?
The final cut.
Yes.
This is a very interesting question because it changes any time is different. Yes, we decide at some point.
Do the children collaborate with this part?
Yes. Okay. But it depends on the context also. Yeah. Because sometimes we stop before the composition. We go on the fragments. That's all. We don't have more time, or the situation doesn't allow us to go further.
Especially for the last example.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So thanks again.
Thank you.